Chiellini, go! Tevez sta solo, Tevez all'interno dell'area, fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, go! Da dietro, Pirlo dentro,
Ciao Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel. We're getting ready for the 22-23 preview and prediction show. Ant's a little fired up. What's going on?
You said, well, let's start. I didn't realize you were actually starting the show. I don't have anything prepared, but I'm ready now. I'm ready to go. Up here, I'm ready to go. Down here.
Oh yeah. We don't need to wait. We got sweet Lucifer here, okay? Pineapple Joe, though, as he's going to be called today here. Pineapple Joe, amazing. Hey, look at Cliffy joining in here. Cliff, nice to hear from Cliff. All right. Let's get, before we get to predictions, first, we'll tackle some of the news. A lot of it's the same. Rabiot's getting closer and closer. Yes, Lou. We got to ask Lou, too. We got to know, where does the agenda move once Rabiot finally, if it gets done, where does it go? Sandro's an easy target.
Yeah, I mean, well, there is no great evil other than Rabiot. So there'll still be some Rabiot tweets, not as many. But I think the likely scenario is it goes to Sandro. Maybe Arthur, he's still around.
Artur's probably going to get the Ramsey treatment.
Yeah, and that's true too. I mean, Arthur, that was an agenda last year that, everyone called me nuts for. So maybe it'll move to Alexandro. We got one more year left of.
There we go. There we go. Vito coming in. Good morning. We got Dan saying, what's happening, boys? Depay and Paredes to Juve. Let's go. Yeah, so basically we'll tackle a little bit of the news because there's a couple names in there and might change somebody's predictions or whatnot, all right? But everybody on the live that's joining in, okay, make sure, okay, I'm going to remind you one last time, this is your last chance, get in, because the games are going to be starting later on today. Get into the SerieAfantasy.com. There's the code for our league, okay? It's going to be G142V. That's an L6B, okay? Way too many people putting a 1 in there. 1-6 and 8-1-6. L6. Get your teams in there. A lot of prizes, okay? I'll leave it up for a little bit here, okay? So you guys can do that while we carry on. All right? And as far as the news and guys that might change certain predictions for guys, okay, we're going to talk about obviously McKennie's recovering well, should be in the squad for Monday, but not a major injury by him whatsoever. Memphis Depay is extremely close, okay? So apparently he's just got to break free of Barca and things are good to go. Got a little bit of a weird contradicting report yesterday that was breaking out about him trying to wait maybe and see, might be some other options, but today it's just back at it that he's just got to break free from Barcelona. Rabiot's extremely close. That means Leandro Paredes will be coming in as he already has terms. So apparently Depay and Paredes have terms with Juventus. Depay would be a big boost to this team and changes things tremendously, in my personal opinion. I want to get to obviously Ant and Lou's opinion on if Depay were to come to Juve. The Paredes one's good too, but Depay, man. Let's start, Ant.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Paredes play, obviously, because you know me, like anything outside the city. Yeah, basically anything outside Juventus, I don't really care. But when it comes to Depay, I've seen him a lot. You see him in the Euros or the World Cup playing with his national side. Upgrade over Keane. I think that's a pretty obvious one for me. The problem is now what do you do with Keane? He's going to be a tough sale. So bringing those two players in specifically really, but getting Arthur off the books and or Rabiot off the books really pushes this closer. That 9.97 I had at a 10 for the Mercado really pushes it closer to 10 out of 10 for me. Like, what more can we ask for if we bring in these two players and offload another two? It's just great business. Slow, steady business.
Pushing it to a 10. All right, I like that. Lou.
Well, first, I just want to say I love Memphis Depay. I'm so happy that we are signing him. Even if the fee's a little high, that the $5 million is not bad. It's the kind of like the bonus total. But Memphis Depay is just one of my favorite non-Juve players. I think that he's, not only is he a perfect vice, but the big thing about him and even Paredes is that they give Juventus versatility, which is what Max Allegri wants. He wants the ability to play multiple, formulas, formations, different teams, different players in each team. That's always kind of been Allegri's stick. To pay, he could play as a second striker, he could play as a vice. There's even some people who say he could play as a winger. I don't know too much about that nowadays. He plays more as a number 9, but if that could happen, how Allegri likes to make 9s wingers, there's a possibility there too. Paredes, similar kind of thing. I actually watched a lot of Paredes the last 2 years because I get Bin Sports and I go to watch PSG for my Verratti fix. So yeah, so he it's not that he's like a world beating player, but he's just he's kind of a pain in the ass midfield, for lack of a better word. He just he's got that South American grit. He's pretty decent on the ball. He could play as a 6, mostly as a regista, but he can also play as a 6. So they could do some things there. When Pogba's back, they could put Locatelli, as the 6 or as the regista, could play in the 2. So it gives us options.
So Lou, since you've seen him play so much, does he kick somebody out of a starting spot, or is he coming in as someone who comes off the bench? That's a lot of money to be paying for somebody who's on the bench, though.
I think he would kick Zakaria out of the 3rd spot. I think it would end up, if everyone's fully fit, you'd get something like Locatelli, Paredes, Pogba. But that also depends on what Allegri sees. Like if he sees Locatelli more as a regista, I don't know necessarily that he'd see Paredes as a 6. Then maybe Zakaria sneaks in. Because Zakaria probably offers a lot more going forward than Paredes does. But it really depends on where Allegri sees him. So he would, I think personally, he could start in the midfield 3. I think that would be it. But it's always possible he could just be a vice to Locatelli, which is what he was to Verratti last year in the regista role. So,
yeah. So Mercado scores. Everyone's still pretty high, but there are some. I kind of would have to agree. I think fullbacks would probably keep it from a 10 for me. It was a 7.5 and 8 until this Depay thing broke out. That would instantly jump it to a 9 for me. Paredes would be just a nice, another solid addition to round things out. That fullback thing just keeps me from a 10, but still, that's so strong. It's so strong. They're to not give these guys credit for how they've been able to maneuver through this Mercado would be just crazy in my personal opinion. They've done a really good job. They backed Max up big time. It's up to Max now to deliver with these players. Put up or shut up. There you go. That's exactly what the guys are going to have to do, and Max is going to have to figure it out. Formations, there are some things in the news. Basically, you're seeing now this Kostic thing being kind of that key difference to shifting the flexibility of this team to not only be able to just sit there in a 4-3-3, but they could play a 4-4-2 hybrid, which Max used last season. That was similar to Pirlo's the year before. They can also go 3-5-2. My quick question to you guys, what would you prefer with the current roster, Kostic and whatnot, out of those formations? What's the setup you would like to see them play the most? I think everybody heard mine on the last live. I think it's starting to suit us in a 3-5-2. We would have to use Danilo because we only got 4 center backs in the roster, but I think 3-5-2 probably suits us now. But we haven't seen Lou in a while, so Lou, kick us off on the formation talk.
No, I'm with you. It's either 3-5-2 or when a healthy Chiesa is back, like a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
But I think my only problem with the 3-5-2 is I don't like the idea that Di Maria plays as a second striker. I'd play him through the midfield if you could.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I like him having that freedom to kind of find spaces on either left or right, and being able to do that. And I think getting him away from defensive work is the key for me.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I think the 3-5-2 would be okay with him. But once Chiesa is back, you got to figure out something different.
Yeah, I think that, even in the 3-5-2, like you could hypothetically, and Pirlo did use Chiesa as a wing back at times. So it's not impossible to think that Allegri could try the same thing when he comes back. kind of like how Kostić is, being used as a wing back a little bit. So I'm all in on the 3-5-2.
Yeah. Anth?
Yeah, you got to remember that Chiesa wasn't having the greatest year under Allegri last year before he got hurt. So that's my one main thing to see for this year is how does Chiesa get integrated into this team? How do they build around him? Or if Allegri's just going to use him as a piece, which I think would be crazy because of the talent the kid has. Going to what you said, Al, not bringing in another fullback almost pushes us a little bit to the 3-5-2, in my opinion, because we just don't have that cover when you have 4 at the back. But Kostić, he really opens up the options. It shouldn't be understated how much of a signing this is. Great signing. And I'm kind of with you, Al. If we can bring in one more fullback as well, that might help. But if this is the team, if Paredes comes in and Depay comes in, I'm okay to the winter at least.
I think that in the winter, if you don't mind me interrupting, that we'll probably see a more active Mercado. Like, I think the winter is a time that you could see someone like Arthur or Ugarte who don't get pushed out. I think
Riva Bendis said that. He said that, what was that, a couple months ago? He said, I think the winter market's going to be way more active.
Yeah, I think the World Cup has, like, it's good because people like Memphis Depay want to up and leave Barcelona because they want to be, ready for the World Cup. But then, it also stops a lot of players that are just comfortable from moving, right?
Yeah.
So I think in the winter, there'll be people that show up at the World Cup that could be your left back for the next 5 years. So you never know. And then there could be people like Damsgaard who just, never hit their potential.
All right, we got
where did he
a couple
go?
quick
He went
questions.
somewhere.
Then we're gonna get into this. Your thoughts on Depay waiting on Premier League offer, asking Juve to wait. We kind of got into that via just saying that those were kind of floating around yesterday. Today it's back on track. That it's basically Juve with the agreement for the player's signature and everything. Just waiting for him to break free on Barca there. And then we got another quick question here. With all these new players, aren't you worried about chemistry? We cannot afford a slow start this season. So this was gonna come up in the discussions over our predictions, basically, because that can affect things and whatnot. There is a lot of new faces. I think sometimes we don't feel that way because some of the names are guys that have been kind of around you, like Fagioli's name's in there, Miretti got some time last season, whatnot, but there's a lot of change. Gatti coming in, Bremer coming in, Kostić now. You're talking about Depay, Paredes as well. There's a lot of change. Chemistry, though, I'm hoping that the favorable schedule to start is what kind of gets us through that build-up phase, right? But how do you guys feel about the chemistry, and how much is it going to be, is it going to be a detriment, or are we going to be able to manage through it? And then, because I don't think it's going to be gung-ho out the gate. I think that's a little unrealistic. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to smash Sassuolo like 6-0 or whatnot, but I don't see that happening, right?
Not going to happen.
Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, when it comes to chemistry, when you're on the field, if you have chemistry with one or two of your teammates, so you have Kostić and Vlahovic, you play on the national team together, that's going to help him get integrated. If they do some set play situations that involve those two, you have, I'm sorry, Lou, but you have like Rabiot and Pogba both on their national teams. You have players that have played together, so I don't think it's all brand new. And these guys are professionals. When they get put into a system, they know what they're doing. Hopefully Allegri implements the correct system. Al and I, we've talked about this a lot. A lot's going to be put on Allegri this year. We're going to be watching him a lot. He's on a short leash for us, especially for all this work that they've done. So if the system suits the players, I'm not that concerned with chemistry. Okay, yeah, the first couple of games you're got to get your feet wet. But come September, no, this team should be rolling by the time September hits. 2 games in, 3 games in. No excuses.
Lou?
Yeah, I think that the question about chemistry is fair because the way we looked in preseason, right? There's a lot of things moving in and out. Not everyone was healthy for a lot of preseason. It's just kind of a mixed bag in some of those games, especially like the Madrid game or, God forbid, the Atletico game. But I think my concern with chemistry comes from the back line. That back three, you know how it is. Like we've seen great back threes over the years, the understanding of the BBC back three, right? So putting Bremer in there, putting Danilo, Bonucci together, how does that work out? They're going to have to really iron that out in the start of the season. So I think that's where, some issues could come. You have Perrin now, Tech obviously later. Is there a difference there? I think the back line is going to be kind of a problem to start. Not that it'll hinder us from winning, but it'll just be a little bit of a
The only saving grace that Bonucci and Danilo have played together for what now?
Yeah.
3-4 years. So
this is a lot of it too, is when you look at the that preseason, and then you think about this potential change, whether some don't feel, too keen on switching to a 3-5-2 or whatnot. But if you look at some of the stuff that was coming up through the preseason, it makes a lot of sense. Fagioli positionally, especially defensively, not being able to help lock down in the mid, a lot of gaps there. A 3-5-2 kind of congests that middle and helps that out. Kostic is another, another attribute to him is his work rate. And the guys that I've talked to that have watched a lot of Kostic will say his work rate suits Max Allegri and how he believes guys out there need to play and whatnot. And it should help everybody around it, especially a left side that is weak. It was weak all last season, and it was weak through this preseason. So that's going to be big too. I think it's more clearing up the issues. Bonucci and Danilo in this preseason. Danilo started in this preseason, looked like it was back in the first season once we got him. Okay. Then he got strong. He gave us exactly what anybody can really ask of a player, which is giving your all and not being a problem. I don't think Danilo's going to be a problem. So I think it's just a slow start. And to be honest, Juve's notorious for some bad preseasons, right? Maybe not this bad in terms of a couple bad scorelines, but I'm not overall too concerned. Okay. Bonucci in a back three makes a lot of sense on a center back that's a ball playing center back and, getting there in age and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff that makes sense for it that should help regardless of the chemistry of them all getting together and whatnot.
I do want to say on the back three, I actually have more concern about Bremer than the other two, only because
that's fair.
The way that he played at Torino. When he played the back three, liked to be in the Bonucci role, likes to run with the ball at his feet out of the back line. He's a little bit more aggressive. He's right-footed. They're asking him to play on the left side, and how he kind of adjusts to that because, things change when you're at Juventus, right? You can't just move Bonucci to the left at his age. You can't sit Bonucci because who plays on the left side, it's one of those things. I also think the 3-5-2, I was thinking about this, the two things the 3-5-2 do really well that we've lacked in recent years is because of the wing backs, you get more help on the flank. Quadrado really doesn't have to worry about, right back duties, stay further forward. Kostic kind of similar. And the midfield, the six roles, the left center mid, the right center mid can get into the box and penetrate more, which we've really lacked. That's been an issue for a while. So.
The biggest thing is press.
Yeah.
Actually, we have had no press through the preseason outside of the first match against Kivas, and we can't go into the season playing that way. We have to get the ball back in control and put teams under. Anthony, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to just to add a question for Lou. If Bonucci is, taking a rest, who slides in the middle, or do we go to a back four? Who plays the back three?
Wow. And this is going to sound kind of crazy because Gatti's kind of an unknown factor for us, but you could hypothetically play him on the left. You could, God forbid, play Alexandro on the left. You could move Bremer central, probably play Rugani central. He's played in the back.
That's a good point,
not that any of those are incredible scenarios, other than maybe Gatti because, like I said, kind of an unknown, but it's thin, but if like I said, the whole thing for me is getting to January. If they can get to January And then it's like, hey, we're competitive for the title. You know, we have these holes. We know what they are. Can we fill them in January? So I think they could make a run at it, at the end of the season. If it's like last year where the Morata thing at the 9 didn't work and we're so far behind because we need someone like Vlahovic, and we're in for another long season.
Yeah. So we're going to get in. So we got a question coming in here. How are we going to do the predictions? We're going to get the predictions very, very quickly here. We're just going to tackle a couple more things here. So Juventino MC, someone on Twitter told me that Juve overpaid for Kostic because he was on his last year of contracting, assuming a total fee of 17 million. Did Juve overpay? Absolutely not. 3 million. And it's actually slightly less than 17 mil. I think it was like 12 mil guaranteed and 3 in bonuses.
12 plus 3, yeah.
3 a max of bonuses, objective base too. So might not necessarily hit it, whatnot. But no, I don't see that as overpaying. What are you going to get for that? Really?
There was an extra 1.5 to his agents. So it was 12.
There you go. So that'll take it to close to 17. Absolutely not overpaying, especially when you look at him statistically in Europe over his term there at Frankfurt. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not for me. You guys? No.
Listen, I have to preface this by saying I didn't watch a ton of Kostic last year, but everything you read about him, no.
Yeah. No. And again, especially like comments just from the guys that I've been talking to and whatnot, they're just like, yeah, he's gonna make an impact and he's gonna help you guys, like, for sure. So yeah, it's an exciting one. And no, I wouldn't say overpaid whatsoever.
No.
Now we'll get to prediction time. Okay. So last year, not so good for myself in the prediction thing. Anthony, not so much. Anthony's going to tell you guys everything. Yes, he banked on Ronaldo being in there, and then that changed. Regardless, it made your prediction stink. So now,
bad.
Tell me the reason Ronaldo left, actually.
So we're going to get, hey, there's talks of him coming back. Is that going to change your predictions, Anth? And then you could just totally botch him again this year and then just say, oh, well, I thought he was coming back.
Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is.
I mean, I would change my prediction.
Love it.
I'll tell you what.
Everybody, quick reminder, like the video right now. Okay, make sure you like this one. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. It's all Juve all the time. All right, now in the live chat, make sure that you follow along. Drop your predictions in here as well, okay? Because those are going to stay in our recorded clips. And then later on, it's always fun to look back and see where we stand and see if you can take us down in the prediction challenge. I'm going to be honest, it's not very difficult. So let's see. Let's see what we do. Over under also, we'll kick off over under on how many questions Lou uses Rabiot as the answer. Ooh. How many picks does Lou put Rabiot in there for? I love how when we mention Rabiot, we have to actually follow it up with a sorry, Lou. Sorry, Lou. Like Ant did it a couple times already in the show.
The Lord's name in vain.
It's like,
well, it's Saturday morning. I don't even think Lou slept. I think he just like rolled in and came on the show.
Yeah, no, I did. I might have went to bed past 3 last night. We'll talk about that.
All right. We're gonna kick it off with. Let's kick it off with some of the lighter ones and whatnot. So we know that Juve needs to resolve the goal scoring issues of last season. Okay. So they wrapped up with 57 goals. Okay. And this is league. We're talking league last season.
That's it.
57.
We're only talking about Serie A stats.
This season, how many goals does Juve bag in Serie A?
Lou?
I have us at 68.
68. Okay. Lou's coming in with 68.
Over the past 4 years, Juventus has averaged 1.83 goals per game. You multiply that by 38, it is around 68.3. I'm going with 69.
Nice.
69.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I rounded up. Lex is going with 67. That pick stinks.
So we have Lucci coming in with 72. The same as Fez here, 72. Anth coming prepared, absolutely, with all the statistical breakdown. Love it.
Better believe.
I'm going 81.
Ooh.
81 goals
Bold.
for
I like
Juve
it.
this season.
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
messing around.
we basically did that almost under Sarri and Pirlo. So
I'm going 81.
we had Ronaldo.
Big shift this season and get it together. And I know it could be hard to believe and whatnot. Okay. I get it. The preseason, all this, shots on target.
What is this?
80,
what are we even talking
81,
about here?
81.
101.
Sorry, 101. Yes. Yeah.
Just Serie A, sorry. Just Serie A. We're not talking. Even
could've
Champions
went
League, we're not getting.
81 goals with Allegri, man. You crazy? Well, look at this. We got some 79, some 78, some 74s. I'm not saying I'm not crazy, but I'm going with 81 and I'm sticking to it.
70s if I knew what Pogba's knee was going to look like in 6 months. Because Pogba,
Especially, I'm telling you, especially like Depay comes and helps. Oh yeah, I'm
I don't
telling
know
you.
what my knee's gonna look like in 7 months.
Good vibes on that one. Okay, now
Tony.
on the opposite side. Okay, how many goals will we allow this season in the league? We had 37 that we conceded last season. How many we will concede this season? Mr. Lucci has said 40. We will concede 3 more. Lex didn't even answer. And on how many goals scored, she just put more than last season, I hope.
What are we even talking about here? Oh my god. Okay, so I'll start this one off because it looks like Lou has no idea what the answer is. I'll tell you what the answer is. The last time Allegri was a coach on this team, we gave up 0.79 goals per game. So, but you still average that over the past 4 years. It's close to about 1 goal a game. I'm going with the winning number. The winning number is 36.
1 less. That's an improvement on defense. 1 less. Lou, how many we concede?
I have us at 39.
Ooh, a couple more.
I think we're going to have some hiccups defensively this year.
I have us very close to where we were last season. I went with 34. Okay, maybe 3 less and whatnot. Just because I think we'll have enough. There's definitely enough in the squad right now to be a little more on the throttle than we were last season, which should, in theory, help us and not try to play wave after wave of invitation to attack us. I'm going to go slightly less at 34. Okay.
27. Now, just saying,
who will have the 27? That would be incredible. Incredible.
That's a lot of clean sheets.
Jeez.
Panucci's going to have to go into sicko mode or something.
Man, that's amazing. I hope that happens.
We're
going to look back on this and this guy's going to be laughing in all our faces. Oh, yeah.
Hell of a little icon there. That looks good up against the wall with the
yeah, that's pretty slick, eh?
I like that.
That's nice.
In black and white. If that's actually him, that could be. I think that's Harry Styles. So.
Yeah, I know. I can't really tell there, but
I think it's Harry Styles.
One thing you know is that's not
a nice Juve kid. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. Distraction.
Yeah,
Who will have the most appearances for
this is a tough
Juventus?
One. I have 3
Last
names
season,
on my list.
It was Morata.
Yep.
Morata had the most appearances for Juventus. This season, I'll kick this one off.
Yep.
My shout for most appearances is going to be Locatelli. And I think Locatelli will have the most appearances for Juve. He was not far off from Morata last season. And I expect a very, very nice step up from Locatelli this season. And I'm going to make him my most appearances.
And I'll tell you why that answer is wrong, because we got way too many guys in the midfield. So I'm stuck between 3 players, Dusan, Bremer, and Danilo. Danilo gets a lot of playing time. He sees.
He does.
So appearances, you're not just saying starts, you're saying appearances. So out of those 3, I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm going to say Dusan gets the most appearances.
I think that with the vice to Depay, Dusan's going to play less games this year. You know, he's still going to play a lot of games, but I think the vice helps. So I was going to pick Locatelli, but I'm going to leave it to Danilo. I think Danilo will get a lot of games this year. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't go with guys on a little bit older age, little questionable. The nice thing about Locatelli, and I'll tell you why I'm right, Anthony. Okay, tell you why I'm right is because regardless of what we play, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 3-5-2, Locatelli is a lock. I don't care if you bring in another 17 midfielders. So far, out of all the guys that are in there, Locatelli's in that lineup on every single one.
Listen, you're using your bias because you took your phone and took a selfie. You want to know something? You're letting personal bias get into business. And
don't you ever talk about my boy like that again, all right?
Him and that hair. Oh, God, that hair.
Beautiful selfie, though. Okay, so we got some Loca in there. We got Bremer. Bremer's got one for most appearances. Danilo in there.
All possibilities.
Dusan also a lock. Yeah, the Depay thing might cut into some time. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Let's see what Lex has got. Rabiot, if he stays, Lex, you're all over the place. You're all over the place on your predictions. That one hurt Lou inside. I got to follow it up with the I'm sorry, Lou. I'll apologize on Lex's behalf for that one. Okay.
You might get the block fired.
Most appearances from Mr. Lucci. He says Bremer. Okay, so Bremer from Lucci.
Wow, Bremer's about to have a major injury. Lucci.
So for anybody that picked Bremer, I'm sorry, Lucci hasn't been right about anything since I've met him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He jinxed it. We're done now. Yeah. Just jinxed it.
All right.
That's mean, man.
This one's gonna be fun. This one's going to be interesting because, again, we've got some close calls on Depay joining and whatnot. Who's going to have a breakthrough season this year for Juventus? And this one's going to be very, very interesting.
I'll start this one off. I haven't picked this one yet, but I have two names on my paper, and I have Zakaria and I have Gatti. Now, based on what we're talking here with the players coming in, Lou, you brought up a good point about maybe Zakaria not getting the playing time. I'm going with the tower of power at the back. I'm going with Gatti to have a breakout season.
Okay. So Alexa's got Gatti or Fagioli. She officially put Fagioli on here, but now on the live has added Gatti.
She knows.
We've got Gatti. We got Fagioli. We got Locatelli from Alex here. Luca, Zakaria. Lou, who's going to have a breakout season?
Ooh.
Mr. Lucci went Kostic, by the way, everybody.
He did, but he's already a good player. Like, when we talk Lucci, come on, man. Lucci.
Gatti was also on my list. Fagioli was on my list, but I think it's Locatelli because I think that if a healthy Pogba's there, Locatelli can really shine. And I think a lot of people forgot, especially non-Juventus fans, forgot how good he really is, because we were so poor last season. So I think the improved midfield, there's more numbers in the midfield. There's different combinations he can play with. I think this is going to be a big year for him.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a while. Luca this year, even through the preseason and the frustrations that we saw and whatnot, his game it's locked in already. Like already. At that Regista role, it'll be gross. We get the help, and once Pogba comes back and whatnot, I agree with everything Lou said. Zakaria was my call for breakthrough this year. He hasn't left me confident in that pick through his preseason appearances, but I'm hoping that that changes. We need that role. We need that role to be strong based on whether it's going to be him or McKennie and whatnot. I'm going to say Zakaria is going to break through this season. I hope. Kostic is a good pick, though, in my opinion.
I got to put one thing on this, though. Lou lives in the subjective. We talked about this earlier today. He does not live in the objective. I live in the objective, science, math background. Lou, more of like a left brain thinker. He lives, I think that's what it is. He lives in the subjective. This pick right here cannot decide who the winner is at the end of the season. It can't. This is a very subjective pick, breakout season. That doesn't even make any sense. I just want to get that out. I want to get that on record.
Low key. So if anybody's been paying attention, Anth is low key tried to protect the garbage predictions he's throwing out. Like with every single one, he's got a little statement.
I'm just saying.
And these are all little ways to protect. So if anybody's following Ant's picks there, just be careful if you're gonna go down that line.
One could say all of your predictions are subjective because they're your opinion.
Do you think I got to where I am today by playing by the rules? Like what's the matter with you?
Oh
Anyways,
man.
let's keep it rolling here. It's on record though. The court has been noted.
Okay.
Objection denied.
Who will get the most cards this season? It was Quadrado
Objective.
last year.
It was Quadrado the past 3 years.
I'm sticking with Quadrado.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick.
Yeah, but
the way he plays, it's
the diving, that doesn't help.
How many?
Ooh, so I think last year, if I remember correctly, it was around 11.
Incorrect. He had 9.
All comps?
No, Serie A was 9.
Yeah, all comps,
okay,
I think it was 11.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
10 was going to be my pick before you.
Yeah, I think he'll be around the same. Like, if you think about him in minute-wise, I think he's going to still be pretty close to what he was there. It might change once Chiesa comes back. And, yeah, is Quad going to get less time once... No, you don't think
Doesn't
so,
mean
eh?
get less minutes. Less.
I'm going to go with he's going to have the most at 9 all comps.
Damn.
Yeah,
I have 9 as well.
I think he'll get the most. I'll put him at 10.
No. I see what you just did there. All comps. No, it's Serie A yellow cards. Don't be doing all comps.
All comps. For the cards, all comps.
No, Your Honor.
Tell me. I'll give you this. I'll give him 7 in Serie A and 3 in the rest of the competition for an even 10.
I'm going with 9 in Serie A. Al?
You know what? Kostic is a good shout. Kostic plays pretty aggressively too, and he's going to be that vice. He's going to be the opposite side quad.
Locatelli also gets a lot of yellow cards.
Zakaria. There's some shouts for Zakaria.
I thought about picking Zakaria, but I don't trust his fitness.
I need to see numbers here. People are just throwing names out. What are the numbers?
Relax.
What are we doing here?
Relax. It's okay. Take it easy. Pump the brakes. Most assists.
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going Kostic with 9 because I think he's going to get a boatload of playing time. And I think him and Deuce on the loose are going to light it up. So, well, sort of.
Kostic. There you go, Ant. Finally jumping on one of the newcomers. Kostic, 9 assists. I'm going Di Maria. Double digits too. 10.
Come on, Lou.
I wanted to pick a newcomer, but now I don't want to agree with either of you.
Di Maria's a newcomer.
No, but I know, but then I'd have to agree with one of you two. Just
that's true.
That kills me inside.
You know who you got to agree with out of the two of us. Come
on. While Lou's thinking about it, I'll just tell you, 5 of the top 7 assist getters from last season, if Rabiot leaves, are going to be gone this season.
Well, okay.
Most assists, Lucci has Kostic, so he's on Ant's side. That should be another symbol to you, Lou, of what not to do. Most assists, Di Maria from Lex. She knows what's up.
Oh man, it doesn't help. Okay, I'm gonna.
Looks like doesn't help.
Yeah, I'm gonna. This one goes out to Luca and Lucci. Quadrado is gonna have the most assists with 9.
Ooh, Quad.
I like how he just he sits back after he makes the pick. Okay?
It's a new lean back chair. It's
Quadrado. Okay. All right. Like that. So we had Kostic,
all not bad picks. You know,
we got some Quadrado. We got some Quadrado in the live chat from Dells. We got Di Maria, quite a few Di Maria, and we've got Kostic from Snipes. Yeah, some good shouts there for sure. A lot of options there. Most goals. Last year was Dybala with 15. Come on.
Yeah.
Ant's got the shirt on there. Vlahovic, striped hearts. I'm going Deuce. You know, Vlahovic.
How many?
31.
No, in Serie A.
All 31.
You're such a tool sometimes. I'm going Dusan was 17 in Serie A.
I got
I really want it to be 34. And I hope it is, but I'm going with 17. And Lucci's going, and Lucci and I didn't compare picks. Yeah, I looked at his after I did mine. He's going Dusan with 16.
If you want me to split it up, I'm going to say it's about 23 roughly in Serie A.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I have him 29 in all competitions, 22 in Serie A.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
Dusan, easy. Yeah, but the hard part, Philip, is how many? How many?
Come on, Philip from Iowa. Let's go.
Let's
Give us some
go.
numbers.
Let's
Come
go.
on.
Look at this. So Serie A, 20 goals, 19, 22. Yeah.
Oh,
we're
by
a
the way,
little
Philip,
bit,
I said go
a little
Hawkeyes.
bit higher.
He could be a
Vito's got
Cyclones fan,
25 in Serie A. Tom Snipes coming in here with 23. Okay.
Oh,
I
good
like
question.
it. I
Here's
like
one.
it.
Here, side note: will he take penalties? I don't think so. I don't know.
Deuce?
Well, I think he takes him this year.
I think Di Maria is going to be in the mix for free kicks, but I think Vlahovic could definitely take the PKs this year.
I think
There's no
Bonucci takes
specialist in
PKs.
his way, and he should also be taking some of the free kicks as well this year.
I don't remember Bonucci ever missing a PK.
That's true. Bonucci can take them. He can take them. And now because you called him on not missing one, he'll miss the first one he takes this year.
Yeah, Pogba can also take him. I feel like we kind of forget about Pogba because of his knee. Like nobody knows what.
Pogba, when he comes back, will take his free kicks too on
Yeah.
the left side. He'll definitely take those ones.
I know the feeling, Lou.
PKs,
Just because you got a bad wheel, people just forget about you.
Yeah, but you've been written out.
All right.
We lost the paper that it was written on. Where'd that
Now
go?
let's get to who will be the best out of the new signings. So
This is a tough
just
one.
the strictly new signings, who's going to be the best? Is anybody going to throw one that isn't locked in just yet, like maybe a Depay? Who
I
wants
will
to
not.
take a shot at that one on Depay and maybe say him? That's going to be interesting.
Lou, you're going to
Best
start this one
newcomer.
off, but
Yeah,
again, subjective. Like what? Terrible.
I wanted to pick Pogba, but I don't trust his knee. So I'll pick Depay. I will. I'll pick Depay.
There you go.
I think that he could be a real asset for us.
SMS from Anthony. There you go.
Love the optimism.
So we've got Bremer. We've got Animesh going Pogba. So,
Yep.
Lou was a little reluctant there. Animesh saying, no, let's go Pogba. Okay, Di Maria, Kostic, Di Maria. And?
Okay, you go first because I'm stuck between two players and I don't want to pick the same as somebody else. So whatever you pick, I'll pick the other one.
So
That's the deal.
Mr. Lucci said it would be Di Maria.
Correct.
Lex said it was going to be Di Maria. I have Di Maria for most assists, but what I think is going to help us out the most out of the newcomers, I just think that left side, from what I've been seeing I think Kostic is actually going to be huge for us. And I think that was going to be my pick for best newcomer, just because it's a side we desperately needed help in. He's got apparently all the attributes from the guys that watch him, that talk to me all the time: quality, work rate, intensity. I'm going Kostic.
I had Di Maria and Kostic on my page. So I'm a man of my word, but I also break my word sometimes. Okay, I'm going to go. You went with Kostic. I'm going to go with Di Maria, even though I think you're right. But I will go with Di Maria.
And cue that one up for Lucci on a recording, even though I think you're right. That's going to be beauty. Love it. Right, going, what? Kyle Georgie, the forgotten. We speak about being forgotten about with a bad wheel. Yeah.
Poor kid, man.
Kyle Georgie, man.
Nightmare.
That was a nasty one.
Godspeed.
So now we've got best new signing, most valuable player, MVP of the 22-23 season for Juventus. So Lucci on
MVP
was Vlahovic, who he had at most goals with 16 in Serie A. So he's going Vlahovic. MVP, Lex has followed up best new signing, saying that Di Maria will also be our most valuable player. So now, having said that, who's your guys' MVP this year?
So this one's actually an actual award. So it's not like, hey, who do we think the MVP was? This is actually good. No, but it's good because this one's actually, you can actually hard
Oh
check
yeah,
box
for
this
sure.
one
Like it's a way that it will be given out at the end
to someone. I have on my sheet, I wasn't sure yet, but I had Bremer and Dusan on my sheet. I think Bremer is going to have a good year. I went back, and the past MVPs are all essentially goal scorers, except for last season when it went to Chiellini. I really hope it's Bremer because I think we need that lockdown. We got to bring that, the BBC style. We won't recreate the BBC, but that sort of mentality at the back. I think Bremer's going to be a big part of that. With that said, I hope Bremer has a great season. With that said, I'm going with Dusan as our MVP.
Vlahovic as the MVP. Lou.
Vlahovic was my MVP as well. We need a big year from him.
There you go.
If he gives us the goals, we can go anywhere.
So, MVP, we've got Bremer coming up. We've got Di Maria. We've got Vlahovic. We've got a lot of the guy I was going to pick. And I actually am going to say I don't think he will be awarded it like in actuality by the end of the season. But I think it's going to be like one of those resounding ones. Almost kind of like last year, De Ligt was almost always in our man of the match discussions.
He had a great year. He did.
Like this year, Locatelli is going to be that guy, I feel, for us. And I think he's going to be massive. We were talking about it earlier. He's going to have a step up. I can feel this next step because there's been a question following him is like, is he world class? And I answered it saying, not just yet, but he's very close. And he definitely has what it takes to get to that mark. This year, he takes a big step closer to getting that status for me. And I think he's going to be huge and instrumental for Juve. I'm going to pick Locatelli as our MVP this year. Luca.
Not going to happen, but that's your pick. Good for you.
Hell of a selfie, by the way. So now let's get to this one. Where will Juve finish Coppa Italia? So the Coppa Italia now. Mr. Lucci, for reference. Champions.
He did pick champions. That's correct.
Lex just said finals.
What
just
does
said
that
finals.
Mean?
Making the final.
Semifinals, quarterfinals. We start in the quarterfinals. What do you know what that means?
Let's see.
You think
Let's
I'm
see. What do you guys think for Coppa Italia?
I think we're getting knocked out in the semifinal.
You are a son of a bitch.
I mean, I've been told that before. Luca tells me that like once a day.
What are you doing, man? Knocked out semis? No way. We make no. We're winning the Copa.
Listen,
win the Copa. I can't have another jersey playing give me one badge. Okay, winners.
The last time we were this attack heavy, we got knocked out early.
Come on.
Just
nah.
Gut feeling.
Okay, so Lou's got them out. This is why we call him Sweet Lucifer, everybody. Okay, like he'll give you some great stuff, and then all of a sudden he'll just he'll stab you when you least expect it. There you go. Yes. Semis out at Coppa Italia and a little aggressive.
I got us as winning.
That's okay.
I'm putting this down
only.
Yeah. Happy Saturday, Lou.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're gonna win that son bitch.
Yeah. Champions, Coppa Italia. Champions League now. Ooh. How far does this Juve squad go? Quarterfinals for Lex. Round of 16 knockout. The same from Lucci. Round of 16.
How many years in a row would that be? 5 if it's a round of 16?
Yep.
Quarters from Anthony. So Champions League.
Me? Oh, him. Yeah.
Group
I'm going
stages. Mark.
Who's this guy? Who's that?
Mark,
guy?
come on.
Mark. Jeez. Must be a troll. Is he the same as that one that keeps popping
Round
up?
Round of 16. Champions League semifinals. Jeremiah, wow.
Holy Moses. I'm gonna go quarterfinals. So there's no more away goal. We lose 3-2 on aggregate. I'm not even going to give you the aggregate.
Which means nothing based on your track record,
Nothing.
but thank you for
That's
the
true.
aggregate.
That's right.
Your predictions are only good for the Azuri, which slipped after the Euro.
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah. We could blame Ant for that, too. We can blame Ant for anything, Lou.
That's
really a great thing.
We missed the World Cup because of Anthony.
It's a good possibility.
Had nothing to do with three PKs we couldn't bury, but all on Ant.
I'm going
Champs,
quarterfinals.
what do you
We lose
think?
3-2 in aggregate. Yeah.
We're going out in the round of 16 again. Do you listen? I have no expectations in the Champions League. If we get out of the group stage,
So
I'm
do
a
I.
happy man. Like it's all about Serie A this year.
Yeah,
so I had quarterfinals 3-2 aggregate. My second pick was finishing third in the group stage and going to the semifinals in the Europa League. I wasn't sure which one was going to go with.
That rule's gone is what makes me believe we're going to advance at least one. We're going to go at least one more round deeper in champs. And there's a big wild card with this team, and that's like.
Wasn't the rule gone last year?
No. So yeah, I'm gonna go out and say that. Yeah, there we go. One round deeper now.
Are we hosting it? Does it assume that we're hosting the Champions League final? Because I don't think we're gonna.
No.
I think he just meant that it's coming to Turin as we're gonna win it. Like
yeah,
it's coming home.
Saying like it's coming to Turin. Yeah.
Thanks. I got it.
You just in your old age sometimes you get
All right. This is it, everybody. This is Serie A. Okay, the final table, top 4 for Serie A, and
top
how
4.
it's going to finish.
We're going
and
top
this
6.
will give us Juve. Now, do you guys
tomorrow.
want everybody else's for reference? You want Lex's and Lucci's for reference?
Go for
I have Lucci's, but go ahead. Yeah, fire Lex's out.
So Lex has Milan, Inter, Juve, and Roma. And she went with Ant's strategy of putting in parentheses. Could change depending on the Mercado and how it wraps up.
Smart move.
So Canadians in the fail safes. Let me tell you,
these fail safes. Yeah, no, you know what? I just grip it and rip it like I live my life. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. Look at this one outside of gate.
Rubbed off on you.
Juve,
I think
Inter, Milan, Roma. Boom.
I think you read Lex's upside down. I think she had Roma first.
Juve first. By Juve. Roma 2 is a palsy call, okay? But Juve 1, I like it. Okay, let's get into this, guys. Top 4 Serie A. Who wants to start?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Lou.
So my top 4 it's Milan, Juve, Inter, Roma. And then Milan get the repeat done.
I have the exact same. I have Juve, Inter. Oh, sorry. I have Juve first, Inter, Milan, Roma, and then I'm going to go Lazio 5th, and then Napoli makes their momentous trek to become an obsolete mid-table club. They're going to finish 6th. Amazing. I'm so happy for them to.
And that might be the best prediction of them all, and I love it. The second you said you had the exact same as Lou, he had to get up and walk away. Probably felt nauseous because now he knows that those are rendered useless.
Yeah, I had the vomit and fix my power.
Inter, I feel that I was a little bit surprised at Milan last season and their ability to keep finding those results. Not a very strong Mercado, in my personal opinion. I think they hit third. I think 1 and 2 is going to be between Juve and Inter this year, to be honest. The 4th spot, I'm going to actually slide Roma in there because Roma had a very strong Mercado, and I think that trophy gave them a little bit of a pick-me-up. Pellegrini is absolutely ridiculous last season, and he looks to pick up exactly where he went off from last season. I'm going to slide Roma into 4th. Juve and Inter battling for 1 and 2.
I think for me, it just It's about depth and numbers. Milan don't have the best squad, but in terms of just numbers of players they have to positions, I think that helped them out a lot last year. I think that the reason I have Juve second is I don't know like what our winter mercado looks like, and I can't trust Simone Inzaghi to win with Inter. It's just you see him too many times. He gets like they could be in first place. Simone Inzaghi will blow it. He's
Lukaku will do damage in Serie A again. He's gonna do
he's a
damage.
problem.
They're gonna be up there. They'll be stronger because of him.
Fully
Juve, if we bring in Depay, and Chiesa comes back September.
Oh, please God, don't rush him back. Just middle
it's
of
not
September.
A rush job. That time frame's not a rush job, buddy. It's not 1989 anymore, and they're working on him. Like, no, come on.
My personal opinion is that we may not see the best of Chiesa, but we won't see it till like January if we do. That's a really. I mean, you just
got to work out the rust, and everybody's got to remember how he was playing under Max before even getting injured. It's a matter of him putting together. All of this is a matter of Max and the players putting it together. Yeah, but 100%. If Depay comes, I feel very confident with the amount of depth we would have in attack and whatnot. If we can put it together at the back, I'd say we win it. I'd say we win it. But I think we're going to be in the top two fight.
Ricardo, Depay is supposed to be very close, right?
Yes.
He just needs to terminate his contract from Barcelona.
Those are our top fours. And look at this.
Sorry, did you pick Juve to win now?
If Depay and Paredes come in, our squad best in league, it's definitely up there. And there's no way we can really not expect to be in that battle, in that top three with the squad we would have if we bring in Depay and Paredes.
I have one additional bonus question. If Juventus is in the race for the Scudetto, let's say they finish second.
No, we're going to win it.
Yeah, they might win it, but if they don't, does Max Allegri survive the year?
Yes.
If what, sorry?
If Juventus are in the Scudetto race and they finish second, does Allegri get another year?
Oh, yeah.
I think
100%.
So.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't come up in the comments.
There has to be progress made.
100%.
If it's the same as last year, even finishing second, like, I mean,
Lex.
Yeah, that's a step up. That's closer. We can't have a point gap that we had this past season. What was it? 14 points out of top?
Yeah.
So if we're 14 points again, that 12, 14 point range, whatever, goals are low, like in that 57 mark, that 60 mark, I say they probably say see you later, because honestly, if they do add Depay, if you're telling me you got a squad with Kostic, Depay, Vlahovic, Chiesa comes back, whatnot, Di Maria, and you can manage 57 goals, like, no, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah,
you got to, if we're 12, 14 points out, we score the same amount of goals, there's no progress made, see you later.
And a healthy Kyle George, like, what are we even talking about here? We should be well over 120 goals.
Always showing love for the bad wheels, and that's a guy there. Okay, everybody,
I wish the best
drop your likes in there.
Do.
We've got a little bit of time for some Storm the Barn questions. Okay, I'm going to check the news again. So that was interesting predictions. They're all recorded here, so there's nowhere to hide. Not for Anthony, nor anybody on the live, okay? Even though he tries to put his little, protection in there on his picks by throwing these little asterisks in there. Doesn't really matter much. Doesn't really matter much.
Here's why I'm wrong, but here's why it doesn't matter.
That's essentially what it is. That's the best way to put it.
That's going to get clipped and come back to haunt me.
So we'll talk about a little bit about this. So they posted, and I believe it was Gazzetta that posted a couple different variations of what Juve can do. And one of them in the 4-3-3, obviously Tech's still injured, probably about another 12 to 15 days that he's going to be out for. So Perin in goal in a 4-3-3, Danilo, Bonucci, Bremer, Sandro. I apologize, everybody. Zaccaria, Locatelli, Fagioli, Di Maria, Vlahovic, Kostic as a 4-3-3. Okay. One of the other variations is this 3-5-2 that we've seen, which is Perin in goal, Danilo, Bonucci, Bremer, Quadrado, Zaccaria, Locatelli, Fagioli, and Kostic across the middle. Di Maria and Vlahovic up top. You've got a 4-4-2 hybrid, which actually has De Sciglio behind Kostic, Bonucci, Bremer, Danilo, Quadrado, Zaccaria, Locatelli round out the rest of midfield, with Kostic being that hybrid player with Di Maria and Vlahovic up top. Yeah, it's just trying to aim and show that flexibility Kostic gives you. Again, out of all of those, I've been saying that I'm done with this 4-4-2 hybrid.
Yeah, that should never exist again.
It's just kind of done.
Stop it.
Does Kostic actually start on Monday?
Yes.
Oh, that's an interesting one too. I think he does.
Yeah.
You don't think he's going to start at?
I think we would all love for him to start, but the guy doesn't even have his game shorts yet. He doesn't even know where his locker is, and he's going to start on Monday.
Number 17, he's got him. 17, man, Kostic.
Who's going to play there?
Yeah, okay, just toss him in, I guess. I don't think he's. I would be surprised if he starts. I would like for him to start. I didn't say I didn't want him to start, but I would be surprised if he starts.
I think it's a strong indication of just how little Moise Kean has done and given us.
Yeah.
That you pick up a guy and he arrives on Thursday and you're going to start him on the Monday.
I think so the big thing about the news, there was that report from Sierra yesterday that after the Atletico match, Allegri asked for another striker, another midfielder, a winger, and a left back. And I think you take that, you take the 3-5-2. It's very apparent that Allegri doesn't trust the left backs that he has. So I think that any way to not play Sandro or De Sciglio, one of those guys in that game, I think he'll start Kostic. De Sciglio may play because in the 3-5-2, he's less of a liability, but I think that I think he's trying to avoid it. That's what it seems like to me.
Allegri doesn't trust him so much that he shipped one out.
And not only that, but Moise Kean is suspended. Kean and Rabiot, if Rabiot even stays, they're suspended actually.
Mm-hmm.
Rabiot's reliable, Al. He never misses games.
Well, he's suspended. And he's not even going to be there. He'll be in England.
Shouldn't have been dumb. That's his fault for being suspended.
I'm waiting for the celebration to thank. I'm going to personally thank Manchester United for all their work for Juventus. Giving Pogba free originally, paying a record fee to take him back, sending him back free, and if they pick up Rabiot, we owe them a very nice thank you card. Manchester United doing wonders, arguably more than Paratici did for Juventus. So thank you, Manchester United. Hopefully it gets done. Please don't play Sandra's it's mind-blowing at this point in time, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do about it? Kostic one, I think he goes in. There's some good points in there too. He's already played quite a few matches and is match ready and whatnot. So I don't think there's any issue there. Again, if we're worried about the chemistry side of the things, how much chemistry did we exactly see in the preseason that we think this guy's going to really be a detriment? I don't see that happening at all.
I don't. Someone mentioned here who put it on here saying, just crazy. I think their name was saying not a Allegri style to start someone who hasn't been integrated into the squad. But hey, new year, new Allegri. Hopefully things change. But
this is the thing too. Max has to change for this team to evolve and take the next step. He can't be the same Max he was. Max last year wasn't even himself. You would think a guy like Max giving 5 substitutes now, you would think that he'd figure it out and how to make those changes he always did historically that were game-changing moments. He was late, a day late, a buck short on all his substitutions almost last year, and it was mind-blowing.
Pretty consistently, the substitutions were bad for at least the first half of the year. They were mind-blowing.
One thing, to piggyback off that point, one thing that I think people forget here is that Allegri has more say now than he probably ever did in his first stint. His first stint, he was kind of there. The management brought players in, and infamously he asked for ball-dominant midfielders, and he didn't get them after Cardiff. It's different now. This management wants him in the loop on signings that they make. So someone like Kostic or Paredes, who normally wouldn't start, might start right away because it's in his plan. Whereas maybe before he needs to like get a good look at them and train to see where they fit. He has like a set plan of what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's why for me, he's on an even shorter leash than last year because it's like, this is your team. You got your guys to do your system, Max. So even Al, we both sat here last year and said, let's be patient. Let's see what happens. It's not his team. This isn't the team he's built. He had a lot of say in the players that came in, and we brought in, if we bring in Depay and Paredes, we brought in a lot of players. Like, it's almost a complete turnover of the squad.
Yeah.
There's almost zero excuses.
And I'll give him
close to zero.
I'll give him a bit of time at the start too, to like get the team to gel and click and whatnot. But he almost doesn't even have that either, because we can't afford to fall behind fall behind at the start too. So it's a tough one. Like, it's just really comes down to making progress, and the team's got to take a big step forward. And it's not so much even like the results itself, if this makes sense, because it's establishing what kind of team we're going to be, an identity, and having something that the players can fall back on and whatnot, because we can't go into games against weaker opposition and get bossed on the pitch anymore. Like, if you lose a game, you put everything into it, and you're just not scoring, but you're all over them, whatnot. I could take that. Sometimes you just can't bag them, whatever. It is what it is. But if you go out there and they're playing, like, again, that match against Inter last year, we didn't get the result. We didn't end up beating any of the top four sides. That has to change this year. Max has to get results against those top squads. But that game against Inter, it was like, it is what it is. We threw everything at them and just couldn't score. And in the end, we ended up losing. But I was fine with that, because we literally threw everything in the kitchen sink at them. That's what's got to happen this year, to get, a little bit of ease off that short leash. That's how I feel anyways. Guys, what do you think?
I think that, like, when you say, like, hey, like, he has a little bit of room to get this team playing at the start of the year, that means that you just have to be competitive in the league. It can't be like last year where by October we knew this team. I know some of us held out a little bit of belief till the winter, but like by October, November, you knew this is a fourth place, third place team. So I think that for me, that's what has to happen. It's you got to be competitive. You got to be in the Scudetto race the whole way through.
Yeah. And I know you got to get going. Any closing thoughts?
No, I think my predictions were fantastic. I think the rest of yours stunk. But just hopefully, just please God, don't get to a slow start.
Yes.
But again, for everybody who's here, thanks for all your predictions. I'm going to jump off. I think you two boys, we're
going to carry on with a little Storm the Barn. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Monday, maybe pregame. Tuesday, maybe postgame. Not sure. Al, I'll talk to you. You tell me what's happening. Maybe
we got the match day live on Monday. Absolutely. Same time as this, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time.
If you guys,
I am going to try and rock a watch along too.
If you guys want to make some money, follow my picks. All right, make some money.
There we go.
All right.
Ciao, Ant.
Yeah, Tony.
All right. Let's see what we got. Lou and I are going to do a quick little Storm the Barn session for everybody. Okay, so questions you guys got coming in. Let's go. We're going to fire up. I'll check the news too. Lou's been doing an awesome job, so everybody should give Lou a ton of props and love for what he does with all UVcast on Twitter, because he's keeping us all in the loop nonstop. It's unbelievable the work they do, especially this Mercado. It's been wild, man.
My brain hurts after some of those days.
It's absolutely wild. Yeah. Jeremiah, do you feel this team is being coached properly, especially in pressing and offensive play? Are the players listening to him? I think if we're going to talk about being coached properly, Allegri, I mean, the results that he's gotten in the past speak for themselves, right? So, I mean, I think in terms of pressing and offensive play, I think what it comes down to is what he believes in the group he has. And I think that's why, you see such a drastic change from like Allegri's teams of the past to this one. Obviously, quality. When you look at last season squad to some of those championship teams we had, and the teams that Max was able to take, to the brink of winning absolutely everything, a lot of quality and a lot of depth drop off. It's one of those things, the press and all this, when you play that style, you have to be on lockdown at the back. Maybe his faith just wasn't there in the back line, and he felt the only way they could do it is to clamp down and try that counter style. It's just one of those things where I think the belief has to be there in the players. With the players he has this season, the belief has to be there that we can maybe be stronger and help our defense by playing on the throttle. I just don't know if Max is going to do that, but at some point in time, I feel like you have to look at the group you have and realize what's best for them. Because if I look at this team now, especially, I would still say that to clamp down at the back and try and counter is not going to be this group of players' strong suit. Would you agree, Lou?
I would agree. I think that, part of the thing that we saw differently from Max's first stint to this stint is our players aren't as smart as maybe they were the first time around. More experience, more talent, just a better understanding, very versatile. Those are the players that do really well under Allegri. Versatile, smart players, right? That he could, take someone like Rabiot and put them on the left mid and he could still affect the game, right? That's what he didn't have last season. Like, this team is more suited for that. It's more versatile. And I think that if Max, can get them out of that defensive shell, if he can change a little bit, it doesn't even have to be a high press kind of team. Even they counterattack very beautifully. This team can win the league and, do very well. It's just, we'll know for sure this year. I think, I do think the players listen to him. I think they buy in. I just think it's about execution, right? And if they can't execute, sometimes that can be a failure on the coach's fault as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Alex saying I think we can expect more of an attractive style next year when Case is full speed and Pogba's and I would agree with that, right? The game changes based on who you have available and what you can do. And I think that's kind of why I have Max on a bit of a shorter leash this season, because I see players that should be helping the problems we had last season. You know what I mean? So in theory, it has to get better. It has to. Tom coming in here saying, I'm honestly tired of just switching coaches and expecting first place results. Things take time and players change, so we can only just hope for the best. Hopefully Allegri and the players can get the W. The fact of the matter is, you got to take everything into account as well. So Max's return was even, I guess you could say, not a huge surprise, but a little bit bizarre that Nedved still stuck around, because you had him being one of these guys pushing for a new philosophy, pushing for a new style, them going back to Max and Yeli being kind of behind that one, bringing back his guy. It left the whole Pirlo decision completely bizarre. Like, it's a bizarre, that was a whole bizarre period of time with these coaches. Really strange.
I think they looked at it and they looked around and said, who else is there? And they were like, what's working now doesn't work for us. Let's get the best possible available coach. And resume wise, whether you love him or hate him, Allegri has that. I just think on this, again, we've said it a couple times on the show, it's all about the vision, the project at hand. If the team has a way of playing and they're competitive and they're competing in all three fronts, and they're, you could see the big grand scheme of things, you have room to stay on. That's, some of these coaches, they got a lot of leeway, like Klopp at Liverpool, right? Like they had a lot of building blocks. They had players, they had, they're pushing kids through, they were signings, they were just missing a couple pieces. So it's all about that building block. Last year was ugly, but if this year is better, the football's more attractive, kind of like we think it will be. Let's say the squad doesn't get you over the line. If you're just there, maybe you win the Coppa Italia, you get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, you respectably go out. There might be room next year. But I agree with him. I'm kind of sick of the ever-changing coaching wheel. It's something that bothers me just in football in general, is how short leashes have been for a lot of coaches.
I think it's all there's a lot of factors though you got to factor in too. So it's like where you were in the standings, where you are, where you're going. Like there's gotta that a wheel's got to be spinning and moving forward.
Yeah.
Right. So there has to be that forward progress. So I think that's kind of one of the things we covered already on the show, talking about Max and this year. Yeah, he's going to be on a short leash, but progress, you can do that in a lot of different ways based on last season.
Yeah.
And even if we look to the struggles of last season, man, we were on the brink of making that title very, very interesting.
Yeah, towards the end, we were very good towards the end.
And that was given the struggles and the frustrating play and all this. This team, on paper, in my personal opinion, is a little bit stronger than last. Obviously, I'm talking about right now. Once Pogba's in the lineup, once you have Chiesa available and whatnot, this team has to do better and take that extra bit of initiative and extra bit of step over last year's. That just has to happen.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like if you can get to that point in February when Chiesa has his legs about him and Pogba, his injury is resolved, right? And you're getting there and you have a team, let's say they're third place, but they're competitive and they're playing well, right? And they make that Scudetto push. Maybe they get second, like I predicted. Yeah. When you see that grand scheme of things by the end of the year, when you have all that there, you can look at it objectively and say, hey, did we play better? We made our best push. Maybe we're a little bit thin at the back, or maybe we need one or two more things to clean it up. But if you're right there, you can build on it. And, I think it's all about how they look in March, right? Is it going to be a little bit like last year? We saw a little bit of improvement, or is it going to be the same stagnant kind of thing that we saw, from the last 2 years, arguably?
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. We're getting very, very close, though, Juventini. So, Anthony, coming in here, after sending Pellegrini on loan, do you think the club has a left back waiting in the wings to replace him? This is an interesting one to think about because you are hearing reports that there could be possibly one, but I honestly don't think so.
I don't either. Just from following the news a lot, the people we're linked with aren't long-term solutions, in my opinion. I don't really think many long-term solutions are out there, to be honest, either. So I think I think that I keep repeating this, but I really do think we'll have an active winter mercado. And if one pops up after the World Cup, we might see it, but it might be one of those things that is pushed to next season.
Yeah. We'll wait and see, but don't get your hopes up, Anthony. Unfortunately, I don't see another left back come, but you never know. There's been a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
A lot of surprises. If we get Depay and Paredes in the squad and out goes Rabiot and Arthur, who should we focus in the January mercado? So I don't see Arthur moving. I've been saying this for like over a year. What he stands us, financially, it's not going to be a move.
Yeah.
The loan was the best thing we could have hoped for. And even then his salary came back to bite us. So yeah. But let's just say Depay, Paredes in, Rabiot goes out. Who do we focus in the January mercado? It really comes down to, for me, if we even make moves in January or say we do whatnot, it comes down to what happens on the pitch. Yeah. There might be injuries, hopefully not, knock on wood, that it's not an injury thing that we need to cover for or anything. But yeah, maybe then, there's a chance at a fullback or something, if that's where you need strength, or you're either just covering for injury. But I don't think there's going to be anything crazy unless there's the opportunity for a guy that's on like a final year that a team's having a fire sale trying to get money if they're going to lose him for free. Those are kind of the wild cards in January that you look for.
I honestly believe that. I think they'll look to shore up the defense in January in some way or form. One of the more interesting things I reported came from Mirko Nicolini, who said about Rugani when it was rumored that they were looking to move him, is that the management is looking at the squad as a whole and objectively trying to improve it in any way they can.
Yeah.
So if a player like that was to exit, maybe in January, maybe there's a suitor. I think that they would bring in another center back. If we stick with the back three, I think there's room there. There's a fullback available. The rest of the pitch, though, I don't think gets touched in January. I think it's one of those like a Thomas Rincon for the midfield in Cardiff kind of move. It's like we need an extra player. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Those World Cup years are always wild too. So, and especially having one in November is going to be a very, very interesting, plot twist to this season, I think.
I agree.
So, Dell saying you guys have mentioned Allegri's plan a few times. What do you think his plan is? Do we continue to concede possession? Oh, so we kind of talked to, and Dell's sorry, I missed the next one. He said you might have covered it in the first answer. Yeah, I think it's going to be dependent on the players, and we have to just wait and see now at this point, but it could very well change just based on the boost in quality. I'm really hoping Paredes gets or not just Paredes, but Depay. The Depay one for me is massive for this team. Changes the face of them completely.
Well, and this is crazy, but there could be a world where Depay ends up being a starter. I mean, it's not that insane to think about.
It isn't. No,
he's still around. Why not?
Your 4-3-3 becomes very, very natural and easy. It's going to be interesting. Jeremiah, what kind of Pogba do you feel we're getting this season once he's back from injury, of course? So Pogba's going to be that wild card. And just based on him picking up that knock and going the physio route, it was very interesting to hear Luciano Moggi's words on Paul Pogba. It was very, very strong too, because he said back in the day during his time, it's not the play. It was not the player. So like if the club pushes, if the best outcome was determined by doctor that it was surgery, that's it. Like you didn't make this call. So he's kind of putting it on Pogba for him making that decision and kind of criticizing this current Juventus for allowing him to make that decision if the majority of the recommendations was surgery. I said this before talking on Pogba. I understand it. And at the end of the day, it's his body and it's, his desire. Almost every player that's in a World Cup team's roster is going to want to make the World Cup, especially when you're around 28, 29 years of age, because you probably got maybe one more after that, and a lot can change in 4 years' time.
France could legitimately win this, so, they got the team.
I'm not going to go all in and studs up on Paul for making that call, and if the team is okay with it, because I haven't heard anything out of them saying that, man, we are like strongly against you making this move or whatever. Like we're pushing for you to have the surgery. Like I think Juve would like to see him attempt to get as many games for them this season rather than wait until the midway mark, try and get that impact in the first half of the season. What do you think about this whole Pogba thing?
I think that, Maggi says a lot of things. We report a lot of things he says. I think that one, I would say if Pogba's fit, we're going to see a very good Paul Pogba. Watching a lot of Manchester United games, in the last couple of years, the player's there, right? But there's a lot of chaos around those teams. But the player and the ability's still there. Even if you watch it for France, it's still there. I think as far as the injury goes, I think Juventus management, they might have preferred surgery, but they're not against him trying to come back quicker. It only benefits Juve if he can come back quicker and be effective, right?
Exactly.
Paul Pogba at 80%, still one of the better midfielders in the league.
Yeah. His quality, that's the one thing I've always said about him. Like, no matter what people think, if they're bothered by, the showmanship and the marketing and stuff, nobody can doubt the guy's quality. And Alex P said it in the comments too. He looked lively in preseason. He looked really, really strong and really, really good. I think we get a very motivated and driven Pogba, Jeremiah. I truly do believe that's a Pogba we will get. Wild card, that knock, unfortunately, that injury. So be very, very interesting to see. So Ricardo, probably one of the last ones. Do we ever see Zaniolo in the Bianconeri shirt? Okay, so getting a lot of Zaniolo stuff just everywhere, Twitter, YouTube, whatnot. keep an eye out for that renewal, because if the renewal doesn't happen with Roma, and he could very well renew, especially now with that project and it looking very, very exciting and whatnot. But if he doesn't renew, oh, that's on. That's on, in my opinion. So they did have terms agreed according to some of the bigger guys, Mirko, Nicolo and whatnot. So if there's no renewal there, it gets easier for us.
I think it's a real possibility next summer, because I think that Riva Bene had said, kind of, and take this obviously with a grain of salt, because not everything he says is true. He throws some things out there, but he has talked about publicly wanting to have the future Italian stars and how that's missing from the current Italian football game, that the big stars in world football aren't Italian. Where's the Del Pieros? Where's the Tottis? And not saying Zaniolo will be one of those players, but they have a racehorse in Chiesa, right? So Zaniolo was at one time a huge profile. And maybe Juventus management thinks, well, if we gamble on it for a year, see him play better, we'll know. So I think it's a possibility.
I think it's a possibility, a strong possibility. Alex P is also going to say that next year it's inevitable. He'd even say the winter, because he says Roma will have to sell in January. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see.
I like that, Alex. I like that
too. Jeremiah thanking us. Another great show. Cheers. Forza Juve. Fino alla fine. Sassuolo win. Let's get it. Absolutely. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning into the prediction show. Hey, everybody that was on the live, your predictions are locked in with us. Anthony should be easy to beat, so I expect all of you to have success there. So we'll see what happens. But Lou, always a pleasure. Got to get you back on way more often, okay? Everybody with Pumpsy and Lou. We had Frankie, the live before that, okay, coming out of the woodworks. It's been great. The support's been huge, you guys, okay? I'm going to remind everybody, as we get close to the Serie A start, you still have a little bit of time to get in there. So get in there right now to our fantasy league, okay? SerieAfantasy.com, code G142VL6B. Make sure that everybody gets in there. We're going to start up a chat. Okay, so there'll be a chat group for everybody that's involved in that. And we are going to start up a Discord to carry on these discussions from these live shows. And we'll have that going probably next week, everybody. So look forward to that. Okay, so again, thanks for all the support. Make sure you've liked the video, subscribe. There's a lot of great comments that have been coming out in the YouTube daily update videos this week, and just the support and saying, oh, how underrated this channel is and all that. And it's the best. And follow the time. We appreciate it. All we ask, you want to support, share the content. Okay, let's keep growing this channel as big and strong as possible. Okay, there's other ways too. StripedHeartsApparel.com. Check that out. Show some love. And yeah, we've got big changes for Striped Hearts as well. So stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming. Monday, we'll be live again. Match day live as we get ready for the season opener. And I am going to do everything in my power. I will probably be doing a live watch along for that match too. Okay, so there you have it, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. Lou's going to keep everybody up to date through Twitter on the news, and I'll have a daily updates video tomorrow. Fino alla fine, Forza Juventus, ciao tutti, and good luck with the predictions. Ciao.